Hello, Mr. Jeff Plate.
This is.
How's
This
it going, my
Ramo?
brother? This is DJ Ramo, Omar from the Metal Mixtape. How's it going today?
Oh, I get it. Ramo, Omar, I get it.
Hey,
Cool.
you're the first one who ever said that. It took 165 interviews for somebody to notice.
I get a prize. Finally.
Your prize is me smiling like crazy over here because I'm excited to talk to you, man.
Cool. Very good. Well, listen, I've got until 5:40. Then I have another one I got to catch.
All right. I'm gonna fly through this. All right.
Cool. Let's do it.
All right. Actually, I'm not gonna fly through it, but I'm gonna cut out a couple questions. So, Jeff, thank you so much for making time on the Metal Mixtape. It is an absolute honor to talk to you. You've been a part of so many amazing projects. Been in the music industry for a long time. One of the pioneer drummers of metal. And you know what? As a fan and as a musician myself, I'm always interested in how a musician got inspired. So I was wondering how you started this musical journey. Was it family influence? Was it some friends? Was it maybe an awesome band that got you into playing music? What made you want to be a rock star?
Well, first of all, after that intro, I should just hang up the phone and go home. That was awesome. I love that. No, honestly, when I was a kid, I'm from upstate New York. My parents are big country music fans. So when I was a child, I grew up listening to country music, and obviously when I was a kid, there wasn't a whole lot to see on TV, but shows like American Bandstand and Soul Train and Midnight Special, that really inspired me as a kid to get into music. The first band that really got my interest was the band Chicago, and I was 12 years old. For whatever reason, that band just really struck something inside me, and I just absolutely loved Chicago when I was that young. And but then fast forward a year later, and I'm 13 years old. I stay up late one night, and I watch the Midnight Special, and this band called Kiss comes out there and performs, and I was just completely blown away. I was probably more in shock, but that performance just put me in orbit, and I knew right then when I saw them guys play on television that is what I was going to do. So that became my drive. That was the beginning of my journey right there. But Kiss, and then a few years later it was Rush, and obviously being a teenager playing the drums, and then all of a sudden hearing Neil Peart, it just blew my mind. And I grew up in such a fantastic era of music.
I agree.
When I was a teenager, it was, first it was Kiss, and then it was Aerosmith, and it was Boyz II Cult, and then it was Rush, and then Van Halen, and then, everything was just so awesome. So there was all kinds of inspiration all around me, but, I began taking drum lessons when I was, I think, 15 years old, and this is when I really started becoming a drummer, started learning the ins and outs of it and realizing, wow, I can actually do this. So the more I worked at it, the better I got, and the more fun it became. And then, one thing led to another. So, yeah, so here I am 40-some years later on the phone with you talking about my new band. Crazy.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You've been doing shows for so long and been in so many projects as a kid. And now looking at it like as well, not a kid now, but just looking at the music industry, wasn't it everything you thought it was going to be, being signed, doing the tours, being in the band? Was it ever everything you expected?
Yeah, well, that's an interesting question, because I was in Boston for 10 years trying to be a rock star. And this is where Ultra Rain actually began. I was in a band in Boston called Wicked Witch. The guitarist, Matt left, and the vocalist, Zachary Stevens, who singer in Sabotage and now TSO and a number of other things. We worked together out there for several years, and as we were trying to get a record deal, grunge came along and kind of threw everything off track, and then Zach Stevens ended up getting the job singing with Sabotage. So, I was in my early 30s at this time, and I thought, geez, hey, I gave it a shot. I'm going to move back home to New York and think about things. And then one thing led to another, and in 1994, I was invited to join Sabotage. So as much as I did a lot of legwork and really worked hard in Boston, I found myself joining a historic, established band like Sabotage. And, so as much as I did a lot of the groundwork, in other projects and stuff, when I ended up in Sabotage, I just ended up in something that was already well on its way. And so one thing led to another. Sabotage kind of morphed into what Trans-Siberian Orchestra is now. Along the way, I met Kurt Vanderhoof from Metal Church, and I played in Metal Church for 11 years. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and a lot of it is it's luck. You have to make your own luck. But, it's like anything. The more you work at it and the more effort you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. So I learned doing the Mother's Day record.
Yep.
This was my first time leading a project, doing the lyrics, the songwriting, the producing, the arranging, the artwork,
Beautiful.
everything. So, here I was all these years as the drummer in these amazing bands. But man, once I stepped out from behind that drum kit and started working on this project, I realized just how much work and time is involved in doing something like this. So I have a whole new appreciation for Paul O'Neill, for John Oliva, for Kurt Vanderhoof, for anybody who's in that position. But what an experience. I'm just thrilled to be able to do it and very proud of the product.
Absolutely, man. I listened to Alta a couple times, the Mother's Day album, and I thought it was fantastic. I thought there was a lot of classic rock and metal roots, extremely melodic. I love the artwork, and yeah, I bet you're kind of blown away, doing, being in so many bands, focusing on the drums, and now with this project, you have your hands firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It's like I knew I had a good idea, and I brought in some local people, people I've known for years. Musicians that have never really stepped out and done anything on a national scale, but I knew that they were more than capable. And once I started building this project, and from one song to the next, it became apparent that we had something pretty special, which just inspired me even more. So, and then you throw this whole COVID mess in on top of it. Last year I really had nothing else to do but focus on this record. So it really taught me a lot as far as engineering and writing and editing, but it really gave me the opportunity to just focus on this and make sure that everything was right before I released it.
That's amazing. For any new fans out there, for any fans and new fans out there that have been following you, tell them a little bit of what they can expect from this album.
Well, I would say it's a progressive metal record. There are some elements of it that are straight up metal. There's some other elements that are somewhat commercial. I think musically, it's got a little bit of something for everybody. If you are into progressive music, if you're into metal, or just melodic hard rock, there's a lot of everything in this record for you. And musician-wise, everybody. Tommy Cook on guitar and vocals, Kevin McCarthy on bass and vocals, Colin Holloway on lead vocals and guitar, and Zach Hamilton on keyboards. Those four guys there are all local guys. And Jane Mangini is somebody she's played keyboards in TSO for close to 20 years. She just brought in such a fantastic, a layer of keyboards and sound to this project that really took it somewhere else. I think it made it more progressive in some spots. It made it heavier. But vocally, Tommy Cook and Colin Holloway sing fantastic. The vocals are so well done on this record. I think that's the one thing that really set this apart from a lot of other records is the vocals and just how big and how well that they are executed. But I have to say musically too, the guys in my band, Tommy Cook on guitar did a fantastic job. Jay Mangini just her playing on this record is fantastic. So it's got some really, really intense musical moments. It's got some other very open, beautiful moments too. Like the song "Always."
Yep.
"Immortal" is a song that could easily fit on, any commercial radio show. "Let's Go" is another one. So there's a little something there for everybody. But at the end of the day, it's a really cohesive project, and I couldn't be prouder of my bandmates and the end result.
I love it, brother. I love it. I'm not going to take too much of your time. I know we're kind of short today. But tell me what keeps you driven after all these years. Because I know a lot of musicians, when they felt they've accomplished a certain amount of things, they like to retire and rest. What keeps your drive going? Why do you do music?
Well, obviously, I've been a part of just some really, really cool bands. I mean, playing in Sabotage and Metal Church is just awesome. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, that is a gig that everybody strives to be in. I mean, if you've ever seen one of our live shows,
I have. Oh.
It is second to none.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. It's such an amazing. It's just so amazing to be a part of it, and I've been there from the very beginning of it. So it's been cool to see the whole thing grow into what it's become. But there is no reason to ever turn away from that. I'm always looking forward to doing a TSO show. But as far as like All Terrain in this Mother's Day record, this was kind of something that was on my bucket list.
Yep.
I always wanted to do a project. I always believed that I had some good ideas, and lyrically I think I had something to say. And so once I began building this, and like I mentioned, from one song to the next, we began realizing, wow, guys, we kind of have something here. And it's just so cool and inspiring to be able to create something like this, but to be able to share it and release it and get such a fantastic response. This has been awesome. I mean, I can't wait to start. Well, we've already started to work on the second one, but I can't wait to really dig into getting the second record done. And we're gonna take this thing as far as we can. But I think we're off to a very good start.
I love it, brother. All right. I'm going to try to fit this all in 1 minute. I'm going to ask you 3 quick questions. You just give me simple answers.
Okay.
Okay. If you could play drums for any band in any era, dead or alive, for one set, what is that band?
Kiss, 1975.
I like it. If in a zombie apocalypse, if you only had one weapon to kill zombies, what is that one weapon?
My sense of humor.
I like it. I like it. What's the best dish you can cook?
Oh man.
What's your personal favorite you can cook?
That I can cook a BLT. I'll put it that.
I like it. And lastly, brother, could you give me a shout out and say this is Jeff Play from Alta Rain, and you're listening to the Metal Mixtape?
The Metal Mixtape.
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Jeff Play from Alta Rain, and you were listening to the Metal Mixtape.
Hey, brother, you have a great, safe weekend, and good luck on the rest of your interviews. Thank you, brother.
Take
have
care,
a good
man.
rest of your interviews, okay?
Yep. Thanks, buddy. Bye.